Serbs fought valiantly in many ways for Europe, from the Middle Ages against the Ottoman invasion, through Germanic Fascism during World War I and World War II, a bulwark, the guardians of the gate. Yet the European Union and the evil representatives like Genscher and deMichelis supported the legal deconstruction of Yugoslavia in 1991, a multi-ethnic, multi-religious, forward-looking and economically developed country. There followed a propaganda war, as well as sanctions and a massive illegal 78-day bombing campaign in 1999, even proudly using the Luftwaffe, murdering civilians again, just like in 1941, just like in 1914. Will Serbs ever learn? The EU and Tony Blair opening their arms to Belgrade is a meaningless gesture. They will make you poor, sick, and a nation with genocide milestone around your neck. Stealing territory, like Kosovo now, then Vojvodina, Sandjak. Do not do it. Do not join the EU. With Brexit, the Vichy-Berlin Axis project is failing and will fail. Pro-EU European Union and Serbs, including the ex-president Boris Tadic or current President Vučić, are happy that they have moved several steps closer to joining the EU by transferring Serbian war heroes Hadžić, Mladić and Karadzic. However, the equation is not so easy and has opened up a potential Pandora's box of further impossible requests on Serbia. The only logical conclusion for Serbia is this: just forget it. Another path must be found for Serbia's sustainable, integral, and functional future. Look at the state of the European Union as it stands in 2023. Brexit happened already in 2020. Germany leads and makes the decisions, with France having a key role. Netherlands dependent on German trade, Belgium existing solely due to Eurocrats and NATO. Then Western Europe, Spain, Portugal and Italy, pigsy countries, effectively bankrupt states. In Central Europe, Hungary and Poland, both not doing too well, with Austria overrun by immigrants. Then further east, Slovenia, Croatia, Romania and Bulgaria. NATO is pushing for an endless war with Ukraine, an attempt to bankrupt and deindustrialize Europe, with again millions of refugees. What common theme do they have? Most of the aforementioned countries were fascist during World War II, and to them subservience to Germany is normal. In 1389, at the Battle of Kosovo Polje, Catholics did not defend Europe, never coming to Serbia's aid, since even before the schism of 1054 the Vatican has undermined Orthodox Serbs, all the evil machinations of the Catholic Church. In the Crimean War of 1853 to 1856, it was much better for Russia to control the Balkans. France, UK and Turkey fought Russia. The result? More suffering for Serbs. Subsequently, the 1878 Congress of Berlin set in motion World War I, giving on a platter Bosnia to the racist and decadent Austro-Hungarian Empire, historically Serbian. In World War I, Germans beat Serbia in the ring. Confident no one would come to their rescue, they were completely wrong. In World War II, Hitler bombed Belgrade, but was zealously welcomed in Zagreb. People were even Sieg heiling the occupying soldiers. Evil mass murderer Pavelic murdered, injured, converted and expelled certainly 1 million people, mainly Serbs, but Jews, Roma, even Croats, maybe more. 700,000 Serbs, with some Roma, Jews and Croats, were murdered by the Ustasha in 1941 to 1945 in Jasenovac. We will never know the true number. Tito post-World War II hid as much as he could. The monument to those victims is the biggest camp, and it is under threat and sidelined in the history of World War II. The Vatican even wants to stop the story, trying to ban films like Dara of Jasenovac. But the truth will be told, with such authors as Professor Dr. Gideon Greif, himself having parents who were Holocaust survivors. Yugoslavia was built up post-World War II and became a modern economy, built its own infrastructure, had free education at point of use, excellent healthcare, and was diverse, forward-looking. A thorn in the eye of the Germans, who did not pay enough wartime reparations. When the wall came down in 1989, it was unmitigated disaster for Europe. We are still feeling the reverberations now. From 1991 to 1999, the Germans and Italians pushed for war. Sanctions punished all Serbs, not just the leadership. The EU attacked all Serbs, all Yugoslavians, children sick in hospitals, the worker, the university professor, the farmer working in the fields, the train driver, as well as the soldier, legitimately defending his land and people. Tony Blair hideously and cynically opened his arms to Serbs in the mass media after the war in a sick media trick. As a monument says, we were just children. Never forget. Günther Fehlinger. Recent press releases show officially Serbia wants to join the EU. Membership in the EU is the most important foreign policy goal of Serbia, so said Serbia's PM, Brnabić, which she said and informed a visiting British official. And then the EU telling Vučić that the 2025 EU entry is impossible. The Germans are cynically using intimidation to get Serbia to recognize Kosovo, an illegal NATO puppet state, as a conditional EU entry condition. No Serb would ever do this. If he did, he would be immediately assassinated. Günther Fehlinger is a Nazi Austrian committee member for NATO membership of Austria, Kosovo, Bosnia, Ukraine, and the EU is bullying Serbs to join the organization which it bombed in 1999 as a precondition for joining the EU. No way. We want no political union. They need to pay us $100 billion compensation. Further, concerning the military, Serbia is left bare and is forced to join Russia in military defensive exercises. We have not yet broken free from the EU, but today Europe is busy solving its own problems, and we can use this chance for a maneuver. Officially, we are neutral, but we have lots of agreements with NATO that run contrary to our official status. In order to achieve some balance, we should slow down our contacts with the EU and to intensify our contacts with Russia, so said Trifkovic. The conditions that the EU forces on Serbia and additionally the ones that NATO forces are clearly seen here. So there is a lot of rubbish talking about, and please recognize the Republic of Kosovo first, and support Ukraine NATO membership. All this is just rubbish, and it forces Serbia into a vassal state. Just pause and look at how fascist NATO expanded since 1989, threatening Russia. Even though the USSR gave up the GDR in good faith for peace, despite losing 28 million of its citizens to defeat fascism, and the lies of NATO, which said not 1 inch eastwards towards Russia. NATO lied. NATO is lying now. This so-called Drang nach Osten. NATO lied after 1989. Sweden and Finland joined in 2023 without even a referendum. In 1999, Yugoslavia was brought to its knees by a 78-day bombing campaign. Slobodan Milosevic was judicially liquidated under US sponsorship. Yugoslavia was then divided into 7 successor states. And look at all the neo-Nazi countries threatening Russia right now in 2023. We need to say "niet" or no to NATO expansion. NATO is not a peaceful alliance. It is a fascist organization which aims to be global, to threaten Russia and China and the peace of the whole world. Say no to NATO. Germans have always followed a fascist line regarding Slavs as Untermenschen, forcing a wedge between our natural protector Russia and us. Recent border incidents with so-called Kosovo special police have demonstrated NATO wants to destabilize Kosovo again due to Serbia's unconditional support for Russia. War is imminent in Kosovo and Metohija. Again, Serbia will reclaim its historic land and heritage back. A bankrupt EU will not fight, and NATO will be exhausted militarily since China will invade Taiwan, Iran will invade Israel, and Greece will take back Cyprus, which has been under Turkish military occupation for 50 years. Impoverished Europeans will not fight in futile wars for the Washington-Westminster regime. Only 20% of Serbs view EU positively, says Euractiv.com. This is EU's legacy. It is a big, fascist, military-industrial turd being flushed down the toilet of history. The EU is bankrupt. Now Brexit succeeded, and others will follow. Serbia's way is surely a Balkan confederation, not a morally bankrupt Europe or E-Europe. An application to join BRICS for both economic prosperity and for military protection. Again, further German aggression. Serbia says no to the EU. BRICS is the only answer.